Hey guys, I want to talk today about controlling your information input, or where you're getting information from, and really even more so how much information you're taking in. I think especially when you're starting to get started as a copywriter, or maybe even before that when you're starting to get excited about it, it's very tempting to start following as many copywriters as you can find and looking for as many books and resources and all that kind of thing that you can possibly find. And then because they have really great algorithms, then Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all that stuff is going to start serving up a ton of different resources to you. And it can be very tempting to be like, all right, I have to take in all of this. I have to take in all of this information, and I have to assimilate all this information, and I have to use all of these different tactics, and I have to. That's a really great way to burn out. Let me tell you that I have been doing this for 20 years. There are a ton of different, and not only have I been a copywriter for 20 years, but I've been a digital entrepreneur for 10 years. And I can tell you that there are constantly new tactics. Post like this on your Instagram, and you're going to get posts like this on Facebook, and do Facebook videos, and do these, and hop on TikTok, and make sure you're here, and make sure you're here, It's very overwhelming, and it's a really, really easy way to burn out. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get information. Believe me, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get information from people other than me, certainly. However, it's really, really easy to burn out when you're trying to take in information from a bunch of different sources. So what I would recommend to you is, instead of trying to take in information from all the sources, maybe narrow it down a little bit. Find out who's saying things that you're like, yeah, you know what, that resonates, that makes a lot of sense to me. Just curate where you're getting your information from. Also, too, maybe give yourself a little bit of a break. You don't necessarily have to listen to every podcast, every marketing podcast, the day that it comes out. I mean, obviously you have to listen to ours the day it comes out. I'm just kidding. You do not have to listen to ours the day it comes out either. But pace yourself a little bit. The problem is that sometimes we convince ourselves that taking in information is the same as doing things. And that's not quite the same thing. So sometimes we can spend all of our time, I read all the articles, and I listened to all the podcasts, and I bought all these mini courses, and I haven't. None of that actually equates to landing clients is the problem. So when your brain is like, we have to consume all this stuff because it's really important, because you have to. No, you don't. If you want to be a working copywriter, you need to be pitching. You need to learn how to write copy. You need to practice your copy. You need to build your portfolio site so that you have something to show people to prove that you know how to write copy. And then you need to be pitching. Pitching will get you clients. All the other stuff, it's going to, you may learn things, and that's great, but it may end up distracting you, and you may get information overload. You may get to a point where you don't know what to do next. And don't get me wrong, some of these, like, post these things on LinkedIn, or post these things on Instagram, that's great, and that can definitely, that may help you to get clients, but you can't lean on social media. I know it would be so much nicer to just be able to post stuff on Instagram and then have clients come to you. Wouldn't that be so much better? That's not how it works, my friends. We don't get to the 6-figure salary by trying to find the easy way around things. And besides, once you start pitching, yes, your first pitches, they're maybe a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's just an email. And you're sending such a nice email. The system that we teach you, it's value-based. We pull out anything that's salesy. It's just an email. Once you get to the point where you're pitching regularly, it's going to be so fast and easy. So my point is, be careful of information overload. Taking in information does not equate to making steps forward in your business. And in fact, when you take in too much information, it can complicate what it is that you think that you need to do next. And it's not that complicated. You need to learn your copywriting. You need to practice your copywriting. You need to put up your website. You need to write some pitches. You need to hone those pitches, make sure they're real good. And then you need to send those out, and you need to keep sending them out regularly. And yes, you will get referrals as you go, but you want to never stop pitching, or I should say you never want to stop pitching, because that's where dry spells come from. That's it. Those are the nuts and bolts of a successful copywriting career. Other things, like I said, maybe there's some tactics that can enhance, but that's where your successful copywriting career comes from. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed by information. Don't let yourself fall into that trap of, well, I have to listen to my podcast, and I have to listen to my article today, and I have to listen to this, and I have to listen to this. Because consuming it, and don't get me wrong, I feel like I've accomplished something when I finish all of my podcasts for the day. All I've done is listened, but checking things off a list. I'm the same way with my Amazon wish list. I feel like if I buy something, I'm making progress on my Amazon wish list. Anyway, consuming things is not the same as doing things. So, my dear, dear friends, don't make it complicated, because it doesn't have to be. It is so much simpler than I think most of us even believe that it can be. And yes, obviously, there are a lot of steps to learning copywriting and to honing your skills and to building your website. And that's a big part of what we teach you. And then we teach you how to pitch and how to land clients and how to price your services and all that kind of stuff. And blah, 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 blah. But the fundamental building blocks to a successful career it's not brain surgery. It's follow the steps. So take in some external information, listen to podcasts, absolutely, read articles, absolutely, stay up on things, but don't let taking in a ton of information distract you from doing the work that you need to do. Okay, so that is what I have for you today. I hope that was helpful. Clearly, since I believe that finishing my podcast list for the day is actually doing something, it's a lesson that it's worth revisiting for myself as well. None of us are perfect, but let's all make this a new goal, huh? Just an idea.